So do you like puppies? I've got a puppy. Well, she's kind of a dog. I mean, she's 3 years old, but she still acts like a puppy. You know what? I'm going to tell you a little bit about her in the family chat with Matt today. So let's get going. So we have finally made it to the end of Psalm 23. We're at verse 6. We're closing it all out today. You know, in verse 1, we talked about how all we need is in God, that He is our good shepherd who leads us and guides us, and we don't need to want outside of Him. And then verse 2, we talked about the green pastures, right? The green pastures of life that we might not see, but God provides them for us. And we talked about the still waters and the peace that He brings to us. Then verse 3, we talked about the high road, the righteous path, and how God leads us on it, even if it's hard. Verse 4, we talked about the valley. We talked about the valley of the shadow of death and how it can be scary to go into situations, but God with His staff, He pulls us through sometimes because He's our leader and He's with us through those dark valleys. Then verse 5, last week we talked about how God sets a table before us in the presence of our enemies, how God has gone from being the shepherd to the host, and He anoints us, He protects us in His home, and He overflows us with blessings and love. You know, through all of this, I think I've really looked at how we can have faith in God's promises, how His promises are true, and He never lets us go. He never fails us, that we can look back at the points in our lives where we've gone through difficult things and we can see God's hand working through all of it. So today we're going to read verse 6. So Psalm 23, verse 6 says, "Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." I love how verse 5 goes to verse 6, that God sets this table before us and He's welcoming us into His home, and we're assured of our protection. We're assured of the blessings that we have in Him, that we can have faith that we will live in the house of the Lord for the rest of our lives. You see how verse 5 went into verse 6 with that. But notice the first part, "Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life." Now, I think about that word following, and I think about my dog, Stella. Now, my dog, Stella, she loves me. She's a black lab boxer mix, so full of energy. She's absolutely adorable. She's a complete and total sweetheart. And on weekends, often I will go and I'll run errands and do projects. And whenever I go places on the weekends, I throw her in the truck and she goes with me, and she absolutely loves to go on truck rides. Well, this last Saturday, I didn't have any projects to do. I didn't have any errands to run. I just got to stay home all day and actually relax. And she didn't know what to do with herself. The moment I got up, she's following me around the house. Everywhere I went, she's following, like, "Are you ready, Dad? Are you ready, Dad?" I sit down to tie my shoes. She's in my face. I go anywhere near the door. She's at the door. I walk around the house, and she's basically stepping on my heels, following me everywhere. Now, I love that she wants to be with me. I love that she wants to be wherever I am. But at the same time, it can get kind of annoying to have her following all the time. Now it says God's goodness and mercy will be following all the days of my life. And I kind of wonder, I said, does that mean like that goodness and mercy? It's kind of like Stella, right? That sometimes we want to live in that. We want to utilize that. We want that to be present, but most of the time, it's not even impactful in our lives. It's just kind of right there following and just kind of gets annoying. So it led me to look up the word following. And the word following is actually radaf. And it doesn't really mean to follow. Instead, it actually means to pursue, like an animal would pursue its prey, or to pursue in order to secure. So we could really say what God's love is doing here is surely goodness and mercy shall pursue me and secure me all the days of my life. See, David was pursued by his enemies. He was hunted by his enemies. They wanted to secure him, to kill him. But now what David's saying is surely your goodness and mercy, not my enemies, but your goodness and mercy are going to pursue me and secure me all the days of my life. So that's how God's love is, isn't it? I mean, for years, I spent kind of running away from God's love. I chose to try to find things in the world that would fulfill me, to bring me happiness, to give me purpose. And I never found what I needed. But through that entire time, God was pursuing me. He was pursuing me with his love. He gave me mercy and let me have more chances. He showed me goodness when I had times in my lives that were pretty bad, but he was there to bring me to the next step. I mean, things got pretty ugly, but God's love did not give up on me. He kept pursuing me until he could secure me in his love. So maybe today, maybe this is you. Maybe you're the one that's running from God. Maybe you're a student and you just feel like you don't belong. And you don't have these friends that seems like other people have. And so you're trying to find ways to fill that void, that spot that's just missing, that you don't feel loved. Or maybe you're a little bit older. Maybe you're a high schooler or a young adult, and everything that's happened in the world right now has just kind of thrown you into a spin cycle, and you don't know what to believe. You don't know what to do with the friends because they all start believing different things, and you don't know who to trust, and you don't know what direction it's all going to go. Or maybe you're a parent and you love God, but really your focus is on your job, or your focus is on trying to bring money to your family. Like you want control of your life and God's been pursuing you, but you're running away because you don't want to give that control to God. You know, whatever the case is in your life, I want to encourage you today. I want to encourage you to stop running. Stop making God pursue you and rest. Rest in his love. Enjoy those green pastures. Don't sprint through them and jump over the still waters, but lay down in those green pastures. Enjoy the peace of the still waters that he gives you. When you're got that chance to go down the broad road, or you got the chance to take the righteous path, trust that God's going to be with you on that righteous path. Even if it gets difficult, he's going to lead you on that path. Trust that even when life gets really hard and you start going through those valleys, that God's going to protect you. God's going to be right there with you so that on the other side, he can have you dwell in his house. He can overflow your cup with love and blessings. That even in the midst of the bad things, he can say, rest in my home. Eat my food. Have peace at my table. Today, I want to encourage you to rest in God's love. If you're not there, he's still going to pursue you. His love will still pursue you because he wants to secure you into his family so that you can dwell in his house, being loved by him forever.